What's going on, YouTube? It's Donnie B all day, and we are at that time. Roscoe got a little schmeg on it. Damn dog drools everywhere. It's about that time. We're going to get to some of these off-grid knives. And I have 3 of them ready to go, but one today. Just one today. We're going to go from little to big as far as the ones I have, this size range. So, now the first time I was introduced to off-grids knives were by this guy. You might have heard of him. He's like, huge dude, the Shredder, monster kid. I mean, just massive. Shredder wears the hat all the time because he believes in the product and the product believes in him. So we're going to find out, D-Bad style, if it's warranted. Now, they come well boxed. You open up this box. This one's a slide box. They have magnetic boxes. They have pull open boxes. They have all kinds of different boxes. And inside you get like this accordion style catalog, and there's a little sticker and all that. You open it up and it's packaged very, very well in a nice dense foam. So if you're one of those people that doesn't hang your knives or bucket your knives and you like to keep them as scratch free as possible, you have that option. Let's get into it. So I have all the specs over here where you can't see, and we're going to go through it. And I'll give you my initial thoughts on first hold and all that. Let's see. The blade length itself is about 2¼ inches. Blade width is about 1.2 inches. Blade thickness is 2.5 millimeter. Blade hardness 57. They use AUS 8, which is a good. I like AUS 8. It's a mid-range steel. I like it. When you're talking about powerhouse knives, would I use AUS 8? No, but I don't have any problems with AUS 8. Honestly, I have multiple knives in AUS 8 that have given me 0 problems. So I'm not one to knock it, so I'm not going to. Let's see. Blade style is a drop point. Blade color is black. That's why it's the Blackout. Titanium nitride finish with a plain edge, a 3.15 inch closed length or handle length, and the handle is made of 440 steel. Let's see, it says locking mechanism is a liner lock, but I'll get into that. There is a thumb hole instead of a thumb stud, and So that's everything on the off-grid Fat Boy ADC right there. I'll give you a little look at it. So now you see this cute little button right here. It says liner lock, right? But the liner lock isn't the liner lock that you use your thumb. You know, you press in and you close it. It's a plunger lock that attaches to the liner, right? So the liner is inside the frame, and to depress the liner lock, all you do is push on this plunger. So you can literally one-hand operate the closing. I'm assuming, let's see, if I go this way, there you go. I can one-hand it. Is it the easiest thing in the world to one-hand? No. Is it designed to be a one-hand open and close? Yes. I would still say it's a two-hand close. It can be a little sticky sometimes. It gets a little tricky, but that's okay. It's still brand new, and I have done nothing with this. Will that work in over time? I don't know, but I'll try. I'll figure it out. One thing I do really like about this knife is that it's a stubby little kind of knife, but it's got a full-length pocket clip. That's cool, man. I like that. And it's a good pocket clip, too. I like it. It's very nice. It is just tipped down. It is not ambidextrous. Who cares? Everybody gets so hung up in tip up, tip down, left side, right side. Who cares? The pocket clip is all you really need. It doesn't matter unless it's one of the like an Emerson type design or a pocket grab, like, you know, the Cold Steel ones, where as you pull it, it's made to deploy from your pocket. So it really matters where the, it's not that. It's a regular pocket knife. So, just positioning. Oh, but I like tip down. I like tip up. If your knife is crap and it's opening without you doing anything to it, you have a garbage knife. Get rid of it. Get a new knife. That's the only reason that a tip up carry is going to bother you, because you're going to go into your pocket to get it and you're going to stab your hand. But that just means it's either time to adjust a little screw there, because most of them have it, and if it doesn't, it's time for a new knife. That's it. So I do like the pocket clip. Very nice. It's a heavy blade for this size. It's got a lot of weight into it. A lot of people say, oh, I don't like that because, you know, it pulls my pants down. Really? Then you don't have any money in your wallet because that would pull your pants down too. So, but here's the deal. It lets you know you have it. It lets you know where it is. It's a good constant reminder that it's there. And when you put it in the hand, a knife that weighs nothing doesn't feel like a knife to me. It's just not. So let's get into some of the ergonomics. This knife is ugly as sin. I do not like this look. Not at all. Reminds me of the Spyderco. And I hate the look of the Spyderco. Disclaimer, the Spydercos work. They work. They're really good. So, should I judge this knife by the appearance? No, I'm not. I'm not going to judge it by the appearance because who knows, it might surprise me. I think they look like little rodents and I just want to snap its neck, right? So, that's the first downfall, is the overall open look. Closed look, you have a rectangle. It looks like a, what do you call those lighters, right? Frickin', that's what it looks like to me. Like, what are those lighters that flip open the top? You all know what it is. But that's what it looks like. Open, it's ugly. In the hand now, they say it's like an EDC camp knife type thing. For me, this isn't a camp knife. This isn't a camp knife. And here's the reason why it's not a camp knife. When you have a camp knife, it's made to do camp tasks. This one is not a camp task knife. Can you cut cordage with it? Why not? Why not? It's a knife with an edge. Of course you can. And that means cutting cordage is good for putting up a tent. Opening up cordage and pulling out the insides is good for starting a fire or extending the life or making fishing stuff. But if you already have a camp knife, why do you need something like this to do that with? Your camp knife is going to handle all that task. So when I talk about a bring along, something that I carry along, it's generally bigger. Like this one, this is the Hawkbill from Case, right? Hey, look at that. This is the Hawkbill from Case. And this is a little small for a bring along, but it's only because it's a Hawkbill. Otherwise, a 3.5-inch blade to a 4-inch blade is a perfect bring along for me for your additional camp knife, because if you're leaving your camp knife, you know what I mean, if I'm out and I have a camp knife with me and I'm doing all my tasks, oh, I'm going to do just a little day hike. All right, well, I don't need to bring this. I'm just going to bring another knife, but I need to bring something substantial enough to where if the crap hit the fan and I got stuck somewhere in the woods, would I be able to use my knife to make myself a shelter, to start myself a fire, to get myself some firewood, or defend myself against some beasts? And if we're talking rattlesnakes or, you know, something on 4 legs that might be a little dangerous, this blade length is not going to puncture far enough to protect myself from getting jacked up by a mountain lion. I can tell you that. And even as a personal defense EDC, ooh, you can't grab it like that, man. You get right on that edge, and they make them sharp. It's a little too short. You need a 4-inch blade to reach any major organs. That's not what these are for. Don't do that. But so for me, that's what I don't like. What I do like, and there are things about this knife that before testing that I like. I like that not only it has a lanyard hole, but when it's closed, your lanyard hole is the only hole exposed besides your opener. And that's fine because you don't need anything else from that. Here's the good thing. When you open it, you not only have the lanyard hole, but you have all these little guys right here. I'm pretty sure they're just weight and design. That's all they are. They're not really made for a function. But if you are an outdoors guy and you are a woodsman and this is intended to be some kind of camp knife, I can lash the snot out of this. Give me some paracord and I can use this point, and this point with some 550 cord and this one. Then I could even loop it through here and the ricasso. I can make a full strap-on spear. I can make a full spear to be able to get small game. And I mean small game because that's what it would be for. But and it would carry enough weight at the tip to where I can use it to throw and keep it blade side forward. So that is a plus. As far as smoothness of action, it is brand new, I'll give them that, but it's not a very fast blade, and part of the reason is because it's so stubby. There's nothing here to grab onto my hand when I'm trying to open it. A longer blade, I don't have anything with a thumb near me, is going to give you more leverage. This one doesn't. That's why, to me, it's a two-handed open. It's a slow two-handed open, but this isn't your battle cry, la 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 knife, so it should not be referred to as your self-defense blade, which is not what they call it either. So they have their heads on straight over at Off Grid. They know what they're talking about. All right, so one thing I can tell you right away is from the feeling, this thing's built well. This thing is like, it's overbuilt, which means this thing is stronger than it should be for its size, just from first contact, playing with it, opening, closing, and getting a good feel for it. Your blade is centered dead nut. That means it's lined up perfectly. No problems with the edge coming out of the box. That was like an inside hiccup. Whew. So let's find out the edge. And it is sharp. It is sharp. I could have been done like 2 seconds ago, but it was so sharp that it just kept going, and it made me go, wow, that's really sharp. And I just kept making a line up my arm. So does it come shave sharp out of the box? It's out of the box. I shaved it. It's out of the box and I shaved. So yes, it comes shave sharp out of the box. They do a very, very good job profiling these knives, balancing these knives. And I have to say that the grinds are very well done and very good looking. That's good looking. Not so much, but it's not about how it looks. It's about how it works. Let's go work it. All right, so before we go outside and see if it will push cut through a rope, through a nylon rope, let's first use some cardboard, which is a notorious blade duller. Cardboard dulls the blades fast. So what we're going to do is we're just going to rip through this cardboard right here, and then we're going to go out and really see if the edge holds up. And I have to say that it is breezing through this cardboard, and I don't have to make anything up because I'm doing it on video and you guys can see this thing is cruising through the cardboard. So as a camp knife, maybe not. As an EDC, not for me. But would this be like a workplace knife? Oh my goodness, yes. This would be a very good and very strong option over your box cutter. Box cutters are weak, they're flimsy, the blades snap, they're constantly dulling really fast. This thing right here, if this edge holds up, I would choose this over a box cutter any day. And here's the deal. People say, oh, well, you're just labeling it as a work knife. Oh, that's limited now. I'll tell you what, most people have jobs, right? And at a job, a lot of times, no matter what you do, I don't care if you're an accountant, you have to open something. This little guy right here might do that. So if, let's just say, 70% of the population had a job, that means 70% of the population could be buying one of these and using it. Imagine those numbers. All right, let's go. All right, so we made it to the stump. The stump. Let's clear off some of this wood, make the stump nice and clean for you guys. Now, the weight of this knife is all in the rear. Normally, whenever I do a balance test, I always use another blade because a finger's too fat to get a proper balance. But it's easy to see that this thing, the weight is all in the handle, right? But we're going to do a 4-foot drop test and see how far off the weight from the tip is. And look at that. You can see how it pulls. That's a straight drop. It's going to pull itself over. Hey, look at that. And it did pretty good. So balance for balance, it's not so bad for this little tiny package. It's balanced well. I'm going to do a couple hard downward throws, and we're going to see if any of this stuff loosens up, because an overbuilt knife gives me the confidence that I might just be able to wing it down. And wow, it's got some good bite. And you can see I'm throwing it. I'm throwing it. I'm not giving it the cutesy pootsy test. I'm gonna actually dig in. Now remember, it is a lock back, right? It does lock back. It's a folding knife, so you don't want to do crazy prying with it, because it's on a pivot, so you can break it. But light prying, we'll see how that pivot holds up. I am inside the wood. Let me see if I can dig out some wood. Look at that. So light pried, it made a hole. I have no wiggling, no wobbling, no loosening. From the downward throws, the lock still works. Let's test this lock. Let's see. It's no wiggling, no wobbling, no loosening. Opens and closes. Not so bad. Let's do a nice hard downward stab. Now here's the thing. Your grip, there's no true choil or true guard. This little tiny lip right here is the only thing keeping your finger from that very sharp edge. So when you come down on it, I would like to be able to put my thumb on the top, which is what I do with most, but my hands compared to this little tiny knife, yeah, my thumb won't reach it. So what I have to do is I'm going to try to use this finger, and I'm going to leave it over the top of the handle so I can punch down without slippage. And you can see that sweet little punch down, nice short shot, got me that much of the blade dug into the wood. That there is pretty good. So far, so good. Now, we've hit the wood with it, we've cut some boxes, we shaved some hair. Now let's see with the edge that's been used, a used edge, not an overused edge, but a used edge. Let's see if we can get a push cut. All right, so push cut, there's validation there. It actually works. Now, if I saw cut, that thing would have went a lot faster. I had to dig a lot of power into that to cut it. You know, some knives you'll see it'll go through like butter. Some knives won't go through at all on a push cut. This one went through. I just really had to push. Yes, I used the edge already. I didn't use it crazy. Every bit of edge use I did on this knife, you saw. You witnessed every bit of edge knife that's been on this knife. So, is the edge like insanely crazy nasty sharp? No. But the edge, either that or it was insanely crazy nasty sharp, and just a little bit of use made it not so crazy nasty crazy sharp. All right, so we're going to use some of this hard vacuum cleaner hose, and we are just going to cut down through it, and it goes no problem. So believe me, when I say stuff like, oh, the edge, it's not, the push cut was hard, who cares? The push cut worked. It actually push cut. It's sharp. But when you're comparing it to knives that have gone through the paces and then did the push cut, but some of these knives I do with, the push cut might be the first thing I do. So, I mean, that's another thing to look at. But here, I cut off some of that plastic hose. Let's cut it in half a little bit more. It takes a little wiggle to get it down, but it's sharp enough to get through it without issue. So that's the big thing. It has nothing to do with, did it happen as easy as it did with another knife? No, because we're not comparing the two knives. The thing is, did it happen? Yes, it did. All right, so what we're going to do is it says camp knife, so why not? Why not? Why not get a little baton in there? I just hit my finger. All right, so it is definitely struggling to separate this wood. Remember, it does list itself as a camp knife, and as a camp knife, I want to make sure that I can make kindling. And the lock, remember, it is a liner lock. So the lock did just fold on me, but that doesn't mean it's a bad lock. This is a locking blade. It's a folding blade. So remember that all folding blades have some kind of spring action going on, whether it's a spine lock, even the amazing triads, frame lock, line lock. Things move. It has moving parts. So when you're banging on it, it's not made for that kind of action. So if you're banging on it, yes, you might have your lock closed. That doesn't mean you have a bad lock. It just means the lock is moving like it's supposed to do, because that's what it is. All right, so here we go. We got through it. So it took a little while. It was a little hard, but we got through it. It took a whole lot of stuff in there. Let's see how she works. clean some of that out with the breath of death. And let's see if we can get, I got some sticks stuck in there, but we'll get them out and then we will continue. So all the crap comes out, no problem. The knife closes, the knife opens, and you can see how it skipped open. I didn't hit the button. You see that? So prior to the testing, when I was banging on the spine, it didn't close. Now it's closing quite easily. So just a little bit of banging on it can loosen it a little bit, but your knife isn't intended to do this, and it's happening pretty quick. So now that liner lock inside is nice and flexible. It's going pretty easy. Am I going to have to worry about that while it's in my hand and I'm cutting things? No, and I prove it. Even though the lock is like that, I'll just keep going and I will cut, and I will have no fear in doing this. Ooh, look at that. That's beautiful. No fear at all getting these tasks in, because A, I'm going against the way, but what's making it close is vibration. Look, if I'm pulling, I'm trying to close it without pressing this button, it's not closing. The lock is not a fail, the lock is good. I turn it over, and on 1 or 2 wraps, look at that. 1 wrap, it closed completely. Is that a fault of the knife? No, it is not. That's just the way interlockings work. That's the difference between a fixed blade and a folding knife. Folding knives fold. It just happens. So I was going to show you guys feather sticking. That just did it all by itself. So let's do some, see if I have enough knife to get some pulls there. I guess if I use a really small stick, I can do that. And look at that. Look at that. So if it literally was the only thing in my pocket, can I use it to get a fire? Yes. Can I use it for kindling? Kinda. Is it going to be reliable after I use it? Absolutely. Opens, closes. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to push, and I'm not going to cut my fingers off. That was me fully pushing on this blade, knowing that it was closing when I hit it, and it's not going to close. So don't let that be a fool's thing, saying, oh, that's crap because it just closed. That's not why it closed. It's not a bad knife. All right, so let's see if we can't do a little tiny chop. I'll hold it way at the end. I'm going to put my fingers way down here so I don't hit this. Well, it's definitely doesn't give you much leverage even on the end to swing. But again, it's not made to do that. So is this thing a camp knife? No, I'm going to call it out right there. I'm going to say no, it's not a camp knife. Is this thing a self-defense knife? Nope, nope. They don't claim it, but I'm going to call it out anyway. It is not a self-defense knife. Is this knife a badass, nasty work cutter? Oh my gosh, all day long. This thing is one of those knives that I would not use personally as an EDC unless I knew that that day just was going to be some quick cuts, things like that. As far as an EDC, for me, it's just not there. There's not enough leverage. There's not enough. It's like that Pico I did where it was really tiny. It would never be an EDC, but I found a purpose for it, and it's hanging on a bag right now, as a matter of fact, with a ferro rod. And that's what that knife is good for. This knife has a purpose. I'm retired, so I don't have to go to work and cut open boxes and stuff. But if I did, this would be a great knife for that kind of thing. It's small, it's out of the way, you're not going to scare any of the people at work. It's good for that. Outside of that, anything else, I honestly, I say, you know, I don't know. But does that take anything away from the build quality? Absolutely not. This thing, it's really tough. Oh, first throw, and I stick it laying down. How cool is that? Whoo-wee! All right, so now throwing the knife. No wobbling, no loosening. So as far as build quality, I have to say that the knife is built with quality. It's built right. It's built strong. But is it something I would keep in my regular rotation? No. Is it something that I'm going to keep around the kitchen for, oh, I don't have a knife on my pocket because I just came back from the gym and I'm wearing a pair of shorts and now I need to cut something open in the kitchen and maybe cook something. Yeah, this is going to be right there. Up, keep it right near the mail. Whoop, bam, whip up, you know, open it up, cut open some boxes, do whatever I got to do with that. That's what this knife is going to be for me. This is not going to be something that is going to be in my pocket. And if it is, it's going to be because I know I just have to open some stuff up, or I'm expecting something to come in the mail that I need to crack open with a blade. And I figure, oh, my other knife is downstairs, so I'm just going to throw this one in my pocket. That's what this is. Does that take anything away from this blade? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's tough. It's a tough blade. I just wish that ergonomically, well, I wish it was better looking, but that means nothing. I just wish that it had more of a handle, or I don't know. There's just something about it when it sits in hand, because I have small knives that are great, that do different things, that are for different purposes. This one might be built stronger than those, but those ones are built different, and it's the different style of built that that is changing my mind. So that's what I think about this. Would I recommend this knife? If you are looking for, like, you're going to Home Depot to get a box cutter and they have 150 different versions of box cutters, would I say, dude, before you get a box cutter, check this thing out? Absolutely. Am I going to recommend this as your regular EDC? No. But I do have the Viper coming, which is an EDC knife made by these guys. And knowing how well built this one is, if the Viper is built as well as this one, I think I'm really going to like that Viper. So this one, it's not a fail for me, but it's more like a right? So that's it. Mama Shredder, I think you love this knife, so I apologize. But that's what I see. I call it like I see it. Good knife, built great, just doesn't have a lot of uses in my real world. So that's it. I'm Donnie B all day. Until next knife.